What's up, guys? We're going to talk today about dynamics and how they can get your guitar solos to the next level and how you can really train yourself to constantly have a flow of ideas, especially like in a jam session or just even when you're writing your guitar solos. This is going to help writing your guitar solos. So the main thing that you need to break out of is this fear of repetition and building your melodic and rhythmic phrases. So as a quick example, I do have a longer video that I'll link below, but as a quick example, just coming up with a phrase like and repeating it. It's an uncomfortable thing for a lot of guitar players. I think they need to jam a bunch of notes in there and make it really complicated, and that's just not the case. So once your motif building is starting to form itself, we want to start adding dynamics. There's no point in adding dynamics to a guitar solo that is going nowhere. So the dynamic safety zone that I want to break you guys out of is rests. A lot of guitar players are afraid to leave space, or if it doesn't lend itself to the genre, at least longer notes, like whole notes, they think they, again, need to jam a bunch of crazy ideas into their guitar solos. So rest we're going to work on. In volume dynamics, I think getting really quiet and really loud, like having a larger gap of dynamic, can be very difficult for guitar players to feel comfortable with. And then the next one, it kind of goes along with the first idea, but it's a complete variation in speed. Again, bringing the safety zone and kind of expanding it a little bit. So the student that I had today, if I were to play, was just right, not bad. But to really vary it up and break outside from that, if we keep that going, it's going to get really old really quick. So we want to break outside of those ideas. So I told him, give me some rest, give me some space in there. Right? Already there's a little bit of digestibility in the listener now being able to like use that space and kind of gather their thoughts, so to speak. So I want you guys to use that space. Listen to some old, Clapton does it really well in his blues stuff. He's always leaving space in there. Get comfortable with leaving space. I was telling another student that was going to a blues jam that if he went up and did every mature player would look at him immediately as far beyond better than someone that went in there going right, and it's too much. Being able to have that restraint and that musicality is what we want to go for. Now, the other thing that we were working on, because his melodic phrasing was getting there, was also volume dynamic, which is, I see it a lot in some of Stevie Ray Vaughan's playing, especially his slow blues playing, mostly his slow blues playing. But that idea of like almost no volume, that can be so fearful, such an uncomfortable place for guitar players to go to. So I want you to mess around with that as well. Now, when you're working with these dynamics, when we're taking where the comfort zone is and we're expanding it, you don't want to be jumping outside of this box too much. That's the next part of this, is learning the extreme parts of these dynamics and learning how to control them and when to use them. So you're not just streamlining your guitar solos, you're bringing in these new elements, but you don't want them to be too wild and too crazy, unless that's what you're going for. I don't know. And then the next one was speed. There seems to be, unless you're a shredder, some of my shredder students are kind of like always up in this like super fast area, but there seems to be no super fast and then also super slow. It just ends up being this whole thing. Now this can be in any genre for sure. This can also be in any tempo. So if I was going to do a slow blues, can be uncomfortable, and then adding really, really quick picks and like tremolo picking gives it just a little bit more flavor. If I were to throw all of this into one guitar, so I'm going to give you an example of a little bit more of a streamlined guitar solo with melodic phrasing. Nothing bad there. Now, if that continues, it's still digestible, it's still easy for the listener, and also has nice dynamic and nice grab for also the listener. Now, if I were to add a little bit too much to that, if I were to come in, too outside of the realm. So you want to stay within that box as much as you feel you need to while touching on these outside elements, okay? I also just want to add for purpose, I had a student, we were doing a little bit more of an Allman Brothers kind of style, and he was a little bit more uncomfortable with the kind of the pausing, a lot of the rest and pause, which I did understand in the genre, but I do want to show you it also with something like that, where we're kind of jamming on like. That was his go about it, and I loved it. I loved where his head was at. But I think taking some of those melodic lines and adding those longer notes and those pauses can still be very beneficial. Right, just to sway a little bit more. If you don't want to come into like, right, that's totally fine. So pick and choose, but I want you guys to experiment with this stuff and get out of your safety zone, okay, your safe place. Get uncomfortable. Now, the more you get uncomfortable, like kind of when I played that really dramatic guitar solo, the more that you guys get into that, the more your ear is going to be trained to hear that in some of your other favorite guitar players. You're going to be able to mess with that, and that's going to add your own personality to your guitar solo. So thank you for bearing with me. This is a longer video. I'm glad that you guys are sticking with it. Let me know if you have any questions. If you dug it, subscribe, pass it along to a friend, and DM me, message me, comment, anything that you guys want to know, anything that I can help you with, I am here. Thanks, guys.